Hi, welcome back to my channel. So today's video, I'm going to show you guys some simple DIY projects that you can do for your pets, all kinds of pets, not just ferrets, with your scrap fabric. So recently I opened an Etsy store. I have been making a ton of stuff, and as a result, I have accumulated lots and lots of scraps of fabric. So now, instead of throwing it out, I would like to do something with it. And there's a ton of things that you can do with scrap fabric. There's also a ton of things that you can do that aren't pet related, but since I focus mainly on pets on my channel, I'm gonna do DIY tutorials related to pets with scrap fabric. If you want to see any other DIY tutorials unrelated to pets or things that you can do with scrap fabric that aren't pet related, let me know in the comments. I will be more than happy to do a video of what to do with DIY scraps that are not pet related. So without further ado, let's get started. So one of the first things that we're gonna do is we're gonna take some of these little scraps that no one really you wouldn't use for anything, and we're gonna chop them up so that we can use them for stuffing. So how I recommend doing that is by doing this. Just lay them all out in a line like this. Okay, so we'll just start here for now. Basically what you're gonna do, get a rotary cutter. You can do this by hand with scissors. Alright, so I'm gonna get strips, fabric, alright, and we're gonna fold this right sides together. We're gonna cut this a little smaller. This is for the cat. All right, you don't gotta pin this at all, but for the sake of showing you guys. So here and here. And then I'm gonna make a couple of these so that I can just sew them all at once. Okay, so now you've sewn your little guys together. I'm just gonna cut off some of these little strings, and I'm gonna cut off the excess fabric down the sides. So just get rid of this. And now we're just gonna turn them inside out. Just like this. And you can kind of pop your corners out with your fingers. Now you got your 3 little sewn pieces. Now you can stuff the whole thing with catnip, or you can use some of the stuffing pieces and mix it with catnip, and then we're gonna sew these closed. Okay, so now you've got them. Make sure that you leave yourself a decent amount of space right here. You can hand stitch these closed, but I'm gonna sew them shut. I'm gonna tuck in like this. I'm gonna fold this in. I'm gonna fold this in so that I have something that looks like this. And then it should look kind of like this. And you can pin this or however you want to do it. All right, so now you can also hand sew these with a needle, which would hide your thread. If I was gonna give these to someone, I would have done it that way. These are going to my cats who are going to destroy these, play with these. I don't need to hide the stitching. But if you were gonna give them away as like a gift or something, I recommend that you use a needle and thread, just so that you can hide this stitching. I didn't need to do that, so I didn't. So you have your little catnip toys. So what we want is we want at least 3 strips, all the same length. 3 strips, 1, 2, 3. You're just gonna tie them together at the top into a knot. All right, now I recommend you find a way to hold this in place while you do this. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm using something, this is just heavy, so this will make this easier. take this and sit it, or secure it, however you have to secure it is fine. I do this because it's easier to do it this way. And you're basically gonna braid this. And you have a rope. Now, your dog may like this, but you may want to make this a little bit thicker. So you can even tie it and make it like a rope chain. Or you can make a couple of these and then braid it together. So let's do that. So here you have just this. This could be a dog toy. It's not as sturdy as the ones you get at the store, but your dog will still like it. My ferrets like these. So I'm gonna add to this. Okay, so I've got 3 more strips. Now what you can do is twist these, and you'll have your dog toy for your dog. Okay, so for the next special DIY, we're going to be using little squares of whatever fabrics that you have. So I have pre-cut some little squares from my scraps. We're just going to line these up like this. So let's see. Ideally, you'd want these to be all kind of the similar size, but this is the point of scraps. So what you're gonna do is take a square and fold them together like this and sew down this line. So basically you're gonna have this when you're done. Now, you wanna do this, whatever fabrics that you're using, like I'm gonna use some of this, and you're gonna make rows and decide how big you want it to be. So I'm gonna have mine be about 10 inches. So I'm gonna need rows that go 10 inches by 10 inches. So, and we can trim this up when we're done, all right? So now we're gonna take this piece, I'm gonna connect it here like this. And then we're gonna sew this, and we're gonna do this till we get a row. Okay, so when you're done, you have something like this, and then we're gonna do this again. So I'm gonna do, I think, 4 rows of this. So I'm gonna go and sew the rest of these, and then I'll show you what to do after that. Now, you can cut your squares all the same size before you start, which is what quilters do, which is what I would do if I was making a quilt. But I'm not making a quilt. I'm kind of just having fun with some scrap fabric, so the perfectness of it, I'm not overly concerned with. But I am gonna straighten this up now, and how I'm gonna do that is I'm gonna take this, and I am just going to kind of line it up and just kind of straighten out the edges so that they are all roughly the same size. So you're going to take your strips, you're going to take your other strip, you're going to put it on top like this. Just along this line, because ideally what you want is to have this. Okay, so now you have this, and you're going to want to get a back piece, or you can make 2 of these and do it that way, but I'm just going to use solid. So you're going to sew all the way around, but you're going to leave an opening at one end. So now you have this, and you don't have to cut off the excess fabric because you're gonna stuff this anyway, but I will clip the corners. And next, you're gonna want to stuff it. So I'm actually gonna use stuffing. I'm gonna use some of this that I have that I haven't used, that I've had for a while. So, because I don't want it to be super thick anyway. So now you're just gonna take this and fold it like in half, maybe like this. and you're gonna put it into your opening. And then once you get it in there, you gotta kind of mess with it so it lays out the way that you want it to. Now you're gonna do this. You're gonna close this up. Just roll it. Clip and clip. All right, and there you have a little bed, which you could make in any size for any of your children, your little fur children. You're going to turn this right side out. And you're just going to take this little guy. You can put it either way. I'm going to put the fleece on the outside because it's really hot here right now, so they don't need a super warm snuggle sack. So we're just going to stick this like this. And you're going to want to try, if you can, to line up the seams. So if possible, see how the two seams line up? Try to line those up. We're going to roll this once, like this. And then again, over top of your fleece. Now, if you want to, and stitch all the way around the top. All right, so now we've done that, you're just gonna cut your string, and you have yourself a snuggle sack. Simple and easy.